and welcome to the 24th episode of Recluse Horror. This is a daily horror movie review podcast. Just a little background on the project. Back on my birthday in April, I decided I wanted to watch and review a horror movie every single day. I have done so for the past 291 days, although only the last 24 days have been a podcast. Before that, it was text reviews. Each episode, I go over one movie that I've watched that very night, and I also review one from text and give any impressions that I have left from watching it before. With me again today is Sam.
Hey.
So today we watched Fright Night Part 2. But since I have reviewed Fright Night Part 1 earlier in text, I'm going to go over that one first because it makes absolutely no sense to review the sequel before the original movie. So, Fright Night from 1985. These aren't the remakes. I haven't seen those ones yet. But yeah, Sam, how did you like Fright Night from 1985?
I liked it.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. It's weird because I don't remember as much as I'd like, and I don't recall a lot of the scenarios, but I remember really liking it.
Yeah.
And when I think back, I'm like, why did I like this movie? I don't...
It's probably because Chris Sarandon was so sexy in it.
It's very good and very sexy.
It is. It's very sexy. It is.
It's just like quality, even though like a ton of stuff doesn't happen. It's just all around like well put together, well written.
Yeah.
I think that's really what kind of makes that movie.
So, if you're not familiar with Fright Night, which I hadn't seen it and didn't quite know what it was about before I reviewed it, basically, a mysterious new owner moves to an old house in a small town, and a string of brutal murders starts up very soon after. There's a horror-obsessed teenager named Charlie who begins to suspect that his new neighbor might be a vampire. So yeah, I think the way that I would characterize this one the most is fun. It is so much fun. It is a blast to watch. I always kind of avoided this one because I thought it was supposed to be made for like sort of a younger audience. I didn't even realize that it was rated R. But it really kind of earns that R rating, even by modern standards, I would say. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
There's I'm really glad that I finally got around to watching it because it's one of those names you hear tossed around. But if you look at small clips from it and stuff, it looks like it's going to be sort of too light and...
what's the Hulu way of saying it? Spooky, not scary? Spooky,
not scary. Which isn't totally true, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hulu has a section, during October, called Spooky Not Scary, and I think it was on that section, actually.
Yeah, I think it might have been. But then there's, like, a ton of blood and, like...
crazy effects and, yeah.
Murders.
Murders. For sure murders. So, yeah. So the casting in this movie is great.
Yeah.
It has Roddy McDowall, who was Caesar and Cornelius in the original Planet of the Apes series.
So, so many other things, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, he's been in a ton of stuff.
So many things.
Yeah. He plays a TV presenter on a segment that's called Fright Night, and it plays old vampire movies in which he starred as Peter Vincent Vampire Killer. His appearance, carriage, accent, and delivery are so reminiscent of, 60s and 70s Hammer films. The vampire hunters, basically usually the ones played by Peter Cushing, which is, I assume, why he's called Peter Vincent. I think that's supposed to be a mashup of Peter Cushing and possibly Vincent Price. But yeah, so he's fantastic in it. Chris Sarandon, as I mentioned before, he plays the new neighbor who might be the vampire, and I can really hardly think of a better choice for that role in 1985. I thought he did a really good job of playing the line between, being masculine and handsome without being too burly or unrefined to be a vampire. And in 1985, it was pretty much his prime. Pretty much the hottest he was in his entire career.
The hotness level
I never
was
thought
at its maximum.
it was. I never thought I was attracted to Chris Sarandon other than like, oh, he has nice features. I'm not usually into like sort of, bigger, tanner dudes.
And if you don't know who that is, he was in The Princess Bride.
Yeah, and he was in Bordello of Blood as well.
Yeah.
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 Sam loves
We're
Bordello
watching
of
that
Blood.
one.
Yes.
Real soon.
We're gonna watch that possibly right after this, because anytime you say that you've forgotten something from Bordello of Blood, Sam
rewatch it.
Sam
we're rewatching it.
Sam makes me watch it again. I've seen it 14 times.
All day long.
It's like when I was little, and whenever me or my brother did anything bad, she would make us both sit down and watch the Barney Manners tape. And I never did anything wrong. It was always my brother, but we both always had to watch it. And so now I see that purple dinosaur and I start to hyperventilate a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, God. So, anyway. But yeah, he plays the line really well. In 1985, there were a lot of, like, really hairy, buff, tan dudes. And he's not that in this movie. But he also...
He's not overly buff, overly tan, or overly hairy.
Yeah, no. And he's also, I couldn't expect somebody with those kind of muscles to be able to be, like, sensual in the way that he was, and he really did. I thought he did a really good job with that. This is like...
It was a big part of the movie. I know it sounds like
something I'm just going on about.
Like you're being a super creep about, but it's...
I am a lady creep, it's true.
It's part of the movie.
It really is.
The sensualness of what's his name in the movie?
Jerry something.
Yeah, okay. Jerry.
Stupid name.
So
I thought
sexy.
that. I always thought that it was so
sexy.
stupid. His last name is cool, but I don't remember
plays
it.
Plays a very
Jerry Dandridge.
A very like sensual vampire, and that's the way the character gets close to people.
Yeah.
So it's a part of the movie.
And it's sensual. It's not like sexy necessarily. It's not like overly like, oh gosh.
It's not like explicit.
Yeah, he's not like come to me.
Yeah,
like
it's
sort
subtle.
of deal. It is. It's very subtle. He has a way of again, much like Peter Vincent in a completely different way. He has this way of carrying himself that is sensual without him trying to be sensual. He's not playing it up and don't you want me, like that sort of dumb bullshit. It's really subtle, and I was not expecting anything subtle from this movie. And there's a lot of subtlety to it, even though it's pretty it's pretty crazy and stuff. I just thought that the choice to cast both of those actors was brilliant, and it fit their roles perfectly. The script is really good. I thought it was really well written and thoughtful, and one of the problems that you can get into with these movies, because it is, like I said, it's very fun, is that you can shy away from like emotional or like quote unquote scary scenes to try to keep the tone light. And I really felt like this one did a really good job of doing both. There are scenes that are heartwarming, sensual, and frightening without abandoning the lighter tone
and
of the movie. Oh, heartbreaking.
Which it was a really weird one.
Yeah.
In there. There's
a particular scene. I actually just upstairs, I rewatched it because I was looking for a specific detail about the movie that unfortunately is still left vague by that scene. But there's a particular scene with one of the minor characters and, well, not minor, but one of the supporting cast. Yeah. The character's name is Evil Ed. And he was really good too. He was completely over the top, but in a way that he's supposed to. But there's this particular scene with him that is really, really heartbreaking. And again, and this is a scene with him and Chris Sarandon, and they both do a wonderful job of both of their roles. I mean, it's just, I did not expect this to have good acting. I didn't expect any of this stuff. And I'm really, really, I kind of thought this was just a B movie. And it's clear that that's not what this is. But anyway, yeah, they do all this without really abandoning the lighter tone completely, so it does a really good job of playing that, lightheartedness and genuine emotionality that can be really hard to maintain. I thought it did a marvelous job at that, personally. What did you think about the effects?
The effects are great.
Yeah.
Effects are very good. Mm-hmm. Just practical stuff. Yeah. And with any of that, there might be some weird parts, but I think for the most part it all worked really well. It's been a minute since I've seen it, so.
Well, they definitely. I thought they were spectacular. They go with style over substance.
Yeah, right.
But that's, I don't want in a movie with this particular tone. If you went full on, it just would feel weird. If everything was just like
super realistic. Super
realistic. Yeah, it sort of emulates the effects of the classic Hammer vampire movies. Yeah. Much of the time, but they improve the quality on them. Harnessing all of the advanced technology that was 1985 practicals. I know that sounds ridiculous, and of course for modern audiences, it would be. But they're either as good or better than a lot of the schlock that you find in, the modern era, I find. And the choice to include certain techniques that were more common to the 60s and 70s makes for some types of visuals that you rarely see as late as the mid-80s. So it's interesting in and of itself. There are a few things that are, I don't know if they're exactly practical effects. They're filming techniques that they use in a couple of places that are 100% like ripped right out of those, not just those Hammer movies. They do it in other ones, But yeah, I mean, it was really incredible. What was your favorite part of the movie without, spoiling anything? Your favorite section or part or character or
all the that's not a tough one. There's a lot of good stuff in the movie, so it's hard for me to say and be narrowed anything down. Mm-hmm. I think all the Peter Vincent stuff is super good. The Fright Night TV show I really like.
Yeah.
I really like Evil Ed. I think that's a big thing about this. All the characters are
every character
pretty good and likable and interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's really what made the movie for me. I think over anything else.
There's a lot. I mean, it's a complex. They're really friends. You know what I mean? All of the three friends. See, there's Charlie, who's the one who suspects his neighbor may be a vampire. There's Evil Ed, who is a friend of theirs, and there is Charlie's girlfriend, who is named Amy?
Yeah, Amy. Also played by Marcy Darcy.
Yeah, Marcy Darcy.
Married with Children. Mm-hmm. I know that the actor has a real name.
Yeah,
I
don't know what it is.
Know or care what that is.
This is the only thing that I think I've ever seen her in besides Married with Children.
She hasn't been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
Oh, Marcy. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's they're a lot of times when they do movies with like groups of friends, like they're all, yeah, everything's great, we're gonna do this thing and it's gonna bond us together. But like in this, they go out of their way to show a real genuine connection. They're concerned about their friends. They hang out together and do all of the normal stuff and have adventures or whatever. I mean, they're not really young. They're like 17. But they still, like, this is an adventure and they're having it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like, they really do care about their friends.
It feels like they're actually friends.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you go through stuff with friends. Sometimes they have terrible things and they talk to you about it and you try to help them. And, like, all of that happens in this movie. It feels much more like a genuine friendship. Sometimes they annoy the crap out of you and do stupid stuff. And that happens in the movie, too. So, yeah, I think, I mean, it's hard not to say that my favorite part is Chris Sarandon being just an incredible vampire. An incredible 1985 prime Chris Sarandon. Like, is he a vampire? Definitely sexy character.
Everybody knew that you were going to say that.
I'm a lady creep.
It's not a surprise. You like Queen of the Damned.
Okay.
And not because Aaliyah's in it.
No, it's because Stuart Townsend is sexy.
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
I know it's a bad movie, but he's so sexy. Stuart Townsend is climbing with leather pants on the ceiling. I can't not like that.
It's not proper climbing gear. But what else are we talking about?
He's crawling around on the ceiling. It's not my fault.
What else are we talking about?
I don't remember what my favorite part is. This is why you don't talk
vampire movies.
You can't talk to me about vampire movies. I'm obsessed with vampires. I really am, and I try to rein it in.
It's really sad.
I try to rein it in. for you guys out there.
Continue the...
All 2 of you listening to this show.
Yeah, the fan.
The fan.
Continue the review.
Okay. I don't remember what my favorite part was anymore.
Okay, that's fine. What else do you really have to say about the movie, to be honest? There's not a ton more. Like, it's really good. Like, it's well acted. It's way better. Like, I was always been interested in seeing it. I don't know how it got past me for so many years.
Yeah, me too.
But it was way better than I was expecting it to be. I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And really, the last thing I want to talk about is Peter Vincent,
Roddy McDowall.
Is like credits because there's like a ton of them.
Yeah,
and they at a point he did a lot of voiceover work. Mm-hmm. Like he was in A Bug's Life, mm-hmm. Superman, the animated series. He was in the Goliath Chronicles, Duckman, Gargoyles, The Tick.
Those are so great.
Batman, the animated series.
Who was he in Batman?
He's the Mad Hatter.
Oh, cool.
SWAT Cats, Darkwing Duck, stuff like that. But most importantly, he was in the GoBots Battle the Rock Lords, voiced as Nugget. So if anybody knows about that classic film,
GoBots.
It's great. That's all. That's like a great work from a great actor.
Yeah, no. Everybody does a great job in this. I didn't.
This movie's okay. I was talking about the GoBots Battle the Rock Lords.
Oh my god.
1986.
Is the Rock Lords a separate show?
Rock Lords is a failed spin-off robot transformation group.
Yeah, like Transformers.
They're robots that turn into rocks.
Why would you want to do that?
Because rocks are cool, are hard or something. Harder than robots.
Did they ever make toys of those at McDonald's? Because I might have had one.
I'm staring at one right now.
Do you have one? Where is it? Oh, that's a
Rock Lord. So you could tell
I didn't know that was a Rock Lord.
So you could tell I'm a real fan. So yeah, go see it, or actually you can't see it or buy it anywhere. It's only on VHS from like
the first.
From
you're
like
talking about GoBots again.
Yeah, I'm still talking about it. It was turned into a GoBots podcast. Technically a Rock Lords podcast. That you can only buy the VHS off of eBay for like $60 or $80.
Oh my goodness!
Because it's not up anywhere,
right?
And there's no DVD copy of it. Mm-hmm. Ooh, so what else are we doing?
So yeah, anyway, the cast is fantastic. The acting is really good. I think I still don't remember what my favorite part was that I was going to say. I got all distracted by Chris Sarandon. That's going to happen. That's going to happen, ladies.
And I'm over here thinking about Rock Lords and GoBots.
Yeah. Right? Well, like, even Sam said, I'm just saying, like, I know that I'm bringing it up a lot, but even Sam said it is sort of integral. It sets the tone and the mood for the whole movie a little bit. And this movie does really have very good tone, I thought. Like I said, it is sort of on the lighter side in a lot of ways, but it's still, anytime it needs to move into an area where it's more serious or more scary or more heartfelt or whatever, there's never any problem. It transitions very naturally. And overall, the whole thing does have this, like, sort of gothic-y vibe that I really personally enjoy. Again, it's emulating in a lot of ways the old 70s, 60s and 70s Hammer movies. So, and I think it does a really good job of doing that without just, straight up ripping it off. I still don't remember what my favorite part of it was. The script is very good, and I do like that it's able to make those transitions, and that it does make those transitions, and I thought that was more subtlety and nuance than I was expecting from this movie. I didn't go in with low expectations. I knew I would probably like this. I've been, it's been recommended to me a number of times, but I really didn't think I would enjoy it on so many levels. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about this, or?
No,
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I mean, the story itself is pretty well tread territory. the more serious moments and the way they tie into more reality than the average vampire movie, in the way that people behave and a few other things, really makes for a fantastic update to the formula, I think. I won't go into any of the specifics or anything, since it's really better to, to discover them and figure it out on your own. But it's a great choice for horror fans, specifically vampire fans, which, did I mention that I like vampire movies? Have I mentioned that before?
No, I didn't know that.
And vampire books and vampire comics and TV shows, and I didn't watch all of True Blood, even the last 3 seasons sucked. Whatever. So yeah, anyway, it's a really good pick. It's a very good movie to watch in a group. It's a very good movie for, like, Halloween or, honestly, just any movie night, like popcorn and friends and pajamas.
Yeah,
and parties.
It's a very accessible movie in that way. It's fun, but also good.
Yeah. If you've got a girls' night with a bunch of fans, like horror fans, or people that you think you can convert to being horror fans, this is a really good choice. But you really do have to watch the movie, otherwise you're going to miss it.
Yeah, it's very understated movie, and I think that's kind of why I missed it for so many years.
Yeah.
There's not, like, one thing that's like, oh, this is, like, that vampire movie that's this, or whatever. It's very understated, very good in that way.
Mm-hmm. Surprisingly complex for such a light-toned movie. Yeah. Yeah. Is there anybody else that you would suggest it for? Really, any horror fan?
Yeah, anybody who's interested in horror at all, it's really got everything in that way.
It does, yeah. It is. It's kind of the whole package. It's so well-rounded. And one of the things I might say is if it's a good movie for, if you're trying to not necessarily convert somebody to being a horror fan, but if you want to watch a horror movie and the person that you're with doesn't really feel like watching a horror movie, I think the tone and the fun of this movie will keep them engaged, even if they're not generally a horror fan. It does have, like I said, there's some pretty crazy effects, and it, like I said, it probably earns its R rating, so, if they're really squeamish, then maybe not. But for the most part, I think most human beings that are, mature enough to handle any kind of action movie or something like that, I don't know. I think they can do it. It's a good movie that will please people who are not horror fans. So if you're really wanting to watch something, pick this up. Anybody else? Anything else?
No. Mm.
Okay, well, that was our review of Fright Night from 1985. Please watch it. Okay, so on to Fright Night Part 2. So just a heads up, if you have not seen Fright Night Part 1, this will, inevitably, this review will
spoil some stuff.
Yeah, there's no way to talk about a sequel to something usually, and without, inadvertently spoiling parts of the first movie. So they're honestly probably on the milder side, but regardless, like, there are going to be things that we talk about that involve what happened in the last movie. So if you haven't seen Fright Night Part 1, and if you haven't, please do. And if you don't want it spoiled for you, then you should just, cut this episode now. And yeah, we'll give you time to shut that down and get to your phone and turn off the podcast and
thanks for talking to me about Rock Lords.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me about my problem with vampires. It's really a problem.
All right, Fright Night 2.
Fright Night Part 2. How did you like it?
I actually think I liked it better than the first one.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. It might not be as like well put together. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm pretty positive it's not.
Yeah.
I liked the multitude of characters.
Yes.
And their individual things, even though they're most of them are like shadows of characters,
right.
Not fleshed out.
Some of them don't even have lines.
There's kind of like a bad guy gang.
Yeah, there is.
They're not a gang, but they're a group of people.
They're a group, yeah.
And I like them a lot, and I think that added a lot to the movie.
Yeah. I liked this one. I definitely didn't like it as much as the first one. But what are you gonna do? I guess. I
did just see this movie. We just finished watching it.
Yeah, we did. We just.
So I don't know, but I feel like I liked it more.
I liked the first one more. Without a doubt, but I still think this was really fun, and it was a good sequel. I was surprised that the sequel was good. You know, especially like I didn't know how you could top that, and I don't think it did. But it was fun. I felt like, see, that was the thing for me. It was a little bit less fun. Like, it didn't have quite the same subtlety, and it didn't have the elements there. It wasn't the emotionality there. There was the sensuality to a certain degree. Maybe just because it was... Well, okay, so this movie, it takes place 3 years after the first one. So, the Chris Sarandon character is gone from this one. Replaced by, not actually replaced by, but, you know, in the sense of, like, whatever. It's basically the same story. Somebody comes to town, 3 years down the line. Charlie, the little, not little boy, but the teenager.
Saying that a lot.
The teenager from the first movie is just getting out of therapy. They're finally saying, like, okay, you're healthy. You've, you know, figured out that vampires aren't real after 3 years of being in therapy. So, and he goes to visit Peter Vincent, whom he hasn't seen since the events of the last movie. And as he's like in the apartment or whatever, he looks out and he sees a scene very similar to the scene in the first movie, where he sees people carrying in these boxes that are roughly the size of a coffin or whatever, and thinks he's, you know, there's vampires moving in next to Peter Vincent, coincidentally, on the very first day since he both stopped therapy and first sees Peter Vincent.
See, I told you it's better.
So, but regardless, I mean, I don't, again, suspension of disbelief. It had to happen sometime, blah, blah. But yeah, so the lead in this is a female, or not the lead, sorry, the antagonist, I guess, is a female in this one. And I don't know if that had something to do with it, because I really liked Chris Sarandon because I thought he was sexy. But, like, the sensual, maybe it's just because I don't have any interest in Charlie. Like, it's played by the same actor, and he does a great job, and he's cute or whatever. But...
Oh, yeah, he's Herman from Herman's Head.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, it's Herman from Herman's Head. Yeah. For everyone who knows who Herman's Head out there, I know you're watching Rock Lords and gonna watch Herman's Head right after. But that's who it is. That's who they are. Marcy Darcy was in the last one. Yeah, what's happening?
What's that movie that ripped off Herman's Head? The little guys?
Oh, Inside Out.
Inside Out.
I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't either, but from what I understand, it's a rip-off of Herman's Head, which is a really weird thing to rip off, if you ask me.
I think it's just like the idea. It's not a rip-off.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe because I'm not the sensual scenes, which there are sensual scenes, I didn't really connect to them on the same level because Charlie, I just think of him as like a 17-year-old, even though he's older and he looks older. And he didn't look 17 in that last movie. I don't think he was. I think he was in his 20s.
Yeah, I think he was older too in the first one.
But I think somewhere in that transition, like I just don't necessarily think of him as like an adult in the same way. So I'm not attracted to him. So maybe that kind of cut into the sensuality of it. What did you think? I mean, she was great. I thought she was great.
Yeah, she was good. I agree. Not as sensual.
Yeah, not as sensual. Okay.
It has elements of that. It's just not as
strong.
It's strong theme. in that respect. Yeah, I think the movie doesn't play it up as much either. You know, like. Like, she's more of a, like, trance vampire. Yeah. Like, put people in trances. And not, like...
And not convince them.
Yeah, not trying to, like, convince them in any way. Like, boom, you're in a trance. Yeah. You'll do whatever I want.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's not in there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there isn't that, you know, that power of attraction, despite all of your brain cells screaming at you to, you know, that this is wrong and you can't do this. Right. Instead, it's like, no, you're just in a trance and you're going to do whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of the way it is, which it isn't quite as good, but it helped the movie move faster. It did. I'll give it that.
It probably did, yeah. And again, she does a really great job. I think she's fantastic. She's a great vampire character. Role. Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's a different role. It's you know.
The only reason we're comparing it because they kind of play the same role in the story.
Yeah, they do.
And if you've watched it, you understand why.
Yeah. But it's really, I don't know. I did really like the movie, but I felt like a lot of the emotionality is removed from it. The sensuality is not really there to the same level. I think it has very fun elements. I honestly thought it wasn't going to have any really fun moments, and then bam, bowling scene.
Yeah, the bowling scene's great. It's so good. That's probably why I like it better.
That bowling scene is great.
Legitimately, like, I was like, all right.
There's a bowling scene, and it's spectacular, and we will tell you nothing more about it, because you really have to see it. I never thought bowling would be...
It's super dumb.
Yeah, it's the greatest. I don't know what you're talking about. It's the greatest. So the acting in this I felt was as strong, probably. Again, you know, that woman, whether or not she's more sensual or does a good job of, like, doing whatever. Am I saying sensual 58,000 times in this?
This is a weird episode. A lot of sensual being passed around.
How is it my fault that vampires are sexy? That's like the whole point of vampires.
It's very weird.
The whole point of vampires, seriously, on a psychological level, is the sexiness.
I'm uncomfortable.
Well, that's what you get for hanging out with a lady creep, okay?
That's true.
That's your fault. It isn't mine.
Yeah.
I didn't make you. You were compelled.
Yeah. It's too sensual.
But anyway, she does a really great job. She has some really incredible moments. Like, really, there are a lot of moments where she gets to shine, and she does. She owns it. One of the cast of baddies or whatever is played by the guy who played Shao Kahn. What's his name?
His real name?
Yeah, what's his real name?
I don't know what his real name is.
He's in a million things. You would recognize him. He has a very distinct face.
Brian Thomas.
Brian Thompson. Brian Thompson. He played Shao Kahn in the Mortal Kombat movie.
He's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He was a punk in Terminator. Next was a Bill Paxton?
Bill Paxton? Bill Paxton is in that?
Bill Paxton?
Oh, that is Bill Paxton. Yeah. Oh my god, look at Bill Paxton.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, Terminator. Yeah, I don't even know if I think I've seen all of Terminator.
He was in Cobra, he was in Joe Dirt. I don't remember who was in Joe Dirt. He's in a lot of stuff. I'm trying to think
a lot better stuff than Sam's naming.
No, nothing better. He was in Terminator.
Well, Terminator is good, but he was a small part.
He's in Joe Dirt, Cobra, Three Amigos. I think most of these are small parts. I can't think of anything where he was
more of a character actor.
Yeah, a lead in anything.
I think I've seen him in...
it was a Lionheart.
Is that Nightbreed? No, Nightwish. Sorry, I thought that said Nightbreed.
He's in Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Or Superboy, sorry. I'm trying to look for something he might have had a lead role in. I think it's just side characters. He's really good, though.
Oh, he was in Kindred.
He was in Dragonheart.
Yeah. Nobody saw that. Oh, who was he in Buffy? That's right, he was in Buffy.
Dragonheart.
Oh, he plays Luke and the judge. Yeah, okay.
Everybody saw Dragonheart.
Dragonheart. I didn't see Dragonheart.
Yeah, so he's just been in a lot of stuff.
He's been in hundreds of things.
Yeah, literally hundreds of things.
Yeah, he has.
Nothing, no leading roles as far as I know. Yeah. I could be completely wrong about that, but nothing I know him from. But he's really good in this.
Yeah, he is. I think he's really good in almost everything.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, even in bad movies. But yeah, no, you've probably seen him, and if not, you'll see him after you look him up on IMDb, you'll see him in all of these things and be like, oh, yeah, that guy. But yeah, he was great. Well, like I said, everybody was. Charlie does a great job, again, since he was, I think, like I said, post-pubescent in the first movie, he doesn't have, like, a weird, awkward transition phase, which is probably for the best. The female love interest in this is not the girl from the first movie. It's not Marcy Darcy. She was not in this one. And the person who's playing his, love interest is not supposed to be the same character, which I enjoyed. I mean, they did sort of get rid of her off screen, which
and then
kind
like
of sucks.
shoehorn this other
love interest in. But she plays a good role, and she plays an important role in the story.
Yeah. Actually, both of them are pretty good in both movies.
They are.
To just not be people in a movie. Like this is Charlie's girlfriend. That's the only thing they have. In the movie.
Absolutely not. Both of them are very strong roles. For in different capacities, of course, but they both do a very good job, and they both, again, play an important role. Who else was in this? John Grease? Who is he? Oh, he was the guy, the hair guy, right?
The hair guy.
With the mutton chop thingies?
Fur man.
He's
the fur man. John Grease.
John Grease.
John Grease. We know from Napoleon Dynamite and TerrorVision. It's our man OD.
That's right.
It stands for overdose.
Oh god.
And like always, he was amazing.
He was good. He was over the top. It was perfect. A lot of the people were over the top, and really nobody, I felt like, got to a point where I was like, oh, come on. Maybe there's a couple of moments with one particular character, but it was like literally seconds, and then they pulled it back, so. But yeah, everybody has like a really strange role in this movie, and I think they all do a really good job.
OD. My man. So good. So good in this. I really enjoyed his role.
Yeah.
I wish he was in more stuff. He's in a decent amount of stuff. He's not a lot of stuff.
Again, character actor.
Played OD and Uncle Rico and Napoleon Dynamite.
Right.
Just like so funny, like just like goofy and dumb, but like even in this,
like well done.
In both of them, always. And most of the stuff always like kind of menacing in a weird way, you know? But like I don't know, it's weird.
See, I don't remember him from Napoleon Dynamite. Was he menacing in that?
He's not really menacing in that.
Okay,
but
his other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. What else is there to talk about? I know there's plenty. Like we haven't really.
There's Russell Clark. Was one of the like bad guy gang.
Yeah.
They have a ton of miscellaneous credits, because they're a choreographer.
Oh, okay.
And they've done like a lot of choreography for, like Cop Rock.
Did they do
House Party 3?
Did they do choreography for that movie? Because some of her scenes, some of the lady...
I don't. It says so. Yeah. So okay. I assume they did the choreography for
Fright Night Part 2.
Yeah. It says it. I think it says. We passed it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Russell Clark probably did the choreography for what was the name of the vampire, the main vampire?
I don't remember what her name was. Regine or something.
Yeah,
like that?
Regine, something like that.
Or something.
It's very
I
close
can't remember.
To
that. But there's seriously, like I said, there's a couple of moments where she has really moments to shine, and a lot of these have to do with choreography, and it is spectacular. So apparently this person who played, and again, plays one of the gang, the baddie gang, is an incredible choreographer, because those
really
scenes
cool
are
in the movie as well.
All the
gang. I think that's why I like this movie. Mm-hmm. The bad guy gang, I think, is really cool.
They are, yeah. But yeah, apparently this person also did Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah.
The choreography for that, and that's kind of involved. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
Yeah.
No way.
Only the hits.
Oh my god.
All the hits. We're talking about all the hits today.
Oh man.
We're talking about all the great hits.
Oh great. No, we are apparently. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, has done a ton of choreography, and they were great. Like, I thought they did a great job in that role. But yeah, while I do feel this has some, like, small deficiencies, and there are definitely areas where the first movie does a lot better. I think this was, again, it was pretty fun. The Regine or whatever is great. The effects in this are probably even better than the first one. There's some really cool effects, and they are of the same, like, a very similar style to the ones that you get in the first movie. But there is a little bit more range. There's a few different types of effects. There are a couple of moments when some of the makeup is not very good, but these are, they're not that big of a deal, honestly. The effects, though, overall, I think were way good. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought the effects were super good. This probably had way more effects than the other one, too.
Yeah.
More effect shots. So, that's...
Something.
More work.
More work,
and it's nice that they all looked good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We can talk about the director.
Sure. Is this the director from the first movie?
It is not the director from the first movie. I noticed that watching it because I was curious about that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the same writer either. Mm-hmm. They took the characters from the first one and wrote another story. I don't really know anything the director did offhand. They directed It, the TV miniseries.
Yeah, the one with Tim Curry.
But not a ton, which is kind of interesting that they didn't do more stuff.
Yeah. Oh no, that's not what I thought it was. Okay. Yeah, huh. Okay.
Because the movie was good, so I expect their credit to be way bigger.
Right.
But it seems very, very minimal, which is kind of a shame. Because even It was directed well. I don't know. I know a lot of people have a problem with it, and I have several problems with it. But, that was just a TV miniseries. You can only judge it so harshly.
Yeah. Well, and... Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can get with the resources of a TV series.
And that's really my problem with it. Is it's a TV series and it plays like one.
Yeah, it feels like one in a lot of places. Well, I mean, for me personally, they didn't follow the book, so like, what are you gonna do? Like, the craziest part of the book is always going to be cut out. It is always going to be cut out of these movies. So, yeah. If you're interested in it, maybe read the book. Like, if you really liked the movies, read the book, because it is much crazier. It goes real weird. What about the writer of this? The writer is different?
Yeah, the writer is the director. Oh, no, there's another writer. Actually, there's several writers on this.
Oh, many writers.
Took several writers to write this one. Nobody I recognize offhand. I'm sure they've done a bunch of stuff that I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we won't worry about it, I guess.
Oh, wait. This,
Miguel Tejada Flores?
He helped write, The Lion King. And more importantly, Revenge of the Nerds. That's right. All the heroes are on the podcast today.
Revenge of the Nerds. Oh, boy.
So, we got that going for us. Actually, that was his first writing credit. Story. Revenge of the Nerds. And then the follow-up, Revenge of the Nerds, in Paradise.
Yeah, Nerds 2.
The classic.
Yeah.
So, we're really, which is somebody who helped write The Lion King, which is weird. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay. But I think we're running out of stuff to talk about, is what I decided.
Yeah. So who would you suggest this for? Which I already asked you.
Pretty much anybody who liked the first one. It's a little bit lighter in tone.
Yeah, it doesn't get that gothic.
Yeah,
vibe
it's not as gothic. They kind of took a different direction, which I really liked. Not that I didn't like the gothic tone, but I really liked, and I still liked. But it's not. It's hard to say because this one is also very gory.
It is.
It doesn't like stop on gore, and I don't want to say it's like more kiddie because it's definitely not. Well, but there's like TNA in it and the blood and stuff but it has a lighter feel.
It does. Well, some of the scenes involving the effects in the first movie, some of the death scenes or the gore scenes or whatever were emotionally charged scenes, and I felt like most of them in here you don't really
they're kind of, you don't really get that
attachment. Yeah, you don't get the attachment to the characters that it's happening to necessarily on the same level.
Yeah, and I think that's an addition to the more characters.
Yeah.
So you didn't get to know everybody as well.
Yeah. So yeah, you really don't get to know very many people very well. I mean, really anybody. I don't think they really bother to go into anybody's backstory or talk about how they're washed up whatever.
No, you don't get a lot of that, and I feel like that's probably the problem, which I kind of
doesn't have the heart,
which kind of doesn't bother me as much because I just enjoyed it as is.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, the more I analyze it, the more I can say technically it's not as good.
Mm-hmm. It's very surface level. At least more than the first one. But that surface level it's good. It's good. And again, those scenes with Regine or whatever her name is, like, are really, really good. Like, they're really good. Like, those 3 scenes, maybe 4 scenes or whatever, are really cool. So, you know, again, Russell, whatever his name was, like, great job with the...
Russell Clark.
They did a great job with the choreography and stuff. So, yeah, I would suggest this one pretty much also to anybody who saw the first one and liked the first one. Again, it's a little more surface value and all of that, but it's good, and it does follow up on the first movie. There's no real... As far as I can remember, there's no real contradictions there from what happens in the other movies. The gang is great. The gang in this is great, for sure.
Bad guy crew.
The baddies. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if you liked the first one, I don't think there's anybody who didn't like the first one who would like the second. Like, anyone who wouldn't like the first movie, who didn't like, who would be interested in the second movie but not the first movie. I mean, it could happen if you're really into...
If you didn't feel like it followed the first movie enough, I thought it was fine.
No. I'm saying I don't know anybody who would like the second one that wouldn't like the first one.
Oh, right. Yeah. For sure. I don't even know why you would watch the second one if you haven't watched the first one, though. But
I mean, unless somebody just had it on or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I've seen sequels to stuff that way, Usually I just go away and I'm like, no, I'm not going to hang out with you because you're watching a sequel of something I want to watch, but...
Just so you know, the easiest way to get rid of you is just put on.
Yeah. Go put on an episode of something that I haven't seen, or a sequel to a movie.
I'll have to remember that. Actually, I already knew that.
You already did know
it works great.
You're a jerk. I'm onto you. Okay. So, was there anything else? Was that it?
No, that's it.
All right.
That's it. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. That's 4. Total of 4 thumbs up for the Fright Night. Movies. Yeah, now we have to watch the remakes.
Yeah, which I hear are good. That's another point that we should probably get. I don't know whether it's true, but they're supposed to be very good. And David Tennant plays the Peter Vincent role. I don't think he's called Peter Vincent in the remakes. But I have heard that the remakes are good. And now that I know that the first ones are good, I want to watch the remakes. So, yeah, I honestly, I can't imagine that it's going to hit those same notes, but maybe it does. I have no idea. Yeah, I know that they're different. I know it's updated. It's not just like a remake. It's more of a reboot or a reimagining of the same, premise, I guess. But I am now really interested in seeing those. And before I was only like, mostly interested because I was like, hey, David Tennant, I want to watch everything he's in. Broadchurch is the most depressing thing I've ever seen, and it's amazing. So, yeah. Yeah, so I guess that's our show. Eventually we'll get around to seeing the Fright Night sequels, and you can find us back here reviewing them for sure. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with somebody that you love or hate or who you just think would like the show. You can, if you don't like the platform that you found us on, or you're trying to find something where somebody else can watch it, we are on YouTube, Apple Podcasts. I keep saying iTunes. It's technically Apple Podcasts, but whatever. It's iTunes. Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and pretty much any podcast catcher, podcatcher. We're also on Player FM and probably a few other places where you can stream it online, beyond just YouTube. If you'd like to, send me a message or any kind of thing like that, you can reach me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can email me at reclusehorror@gmail.com. And you can always like, review, subscribe, rate, whatever the things are on whatever the pages that you found us. So, yeah, thank you so much. So you don't have any funny rating? Just 2 thumbs up?
2 thumbs. 4 thumbs up. For a total of 4 thumbs up.
For a total of 4 thumbs up.
Which will, what do I do? 100-star rating I give the movies about 85 stars apiece, which is a total of
140?
140.
Wait, 170?
50,
170?
170 stars total.
Yeah.
That wasn't funny or anything. It was math.
It was math. Math is never
it's
funny.
It's the opposite of being funny. But that's how many stars it gets, and that's how many thumbs it gets.
Do you want to know a math thing that's funny?
Sure.
Why was 6 afraid of 7?
7, 8, 9.
I know, math!
7, 8, 9.
Okay, well, that's our show. Samuel, say goodbye to these fine folks.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.